Welcome to the show. Today, you'll hear from mental and physical health care professionals from Family and Children's Services, right here in Oklahoma. We'll spend the next hour talking about the topics that are important to you. From anxiety and depression to vitality and wellness, you'll get the information you need about the issues that you face every day. Call us with your questions at 918-856-3873, and we'll answer them live, real time, right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and live streaming worldwide at KBOB899.com. Now, let's welcome your host for the next hour.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Bobby Eaton, thank you for having us, as usual, Family and Children's Services. I am Teresa Williams. I'm your host for this afternoon. I'm the clinical director of the Apache North Tulsa location. We've been open a little bit over a year now. And so we have wonderful guests that decide to join me today. But before I introduce our guests, I would like to say that this time is really about the back to school time of the year. It creates a level of stress for parents and kiddos. Matter of fact, I'm like, goodness, we're already there. We're there.
Yeah.
Yes. I have two kiddos. One that is in college, her second year. She's headed back next year at OU. Go OU. And then my youngest will be a junior in high school. And I'm just like, wow. And no stress. Oh, by the way, it's tax-free weekend this weekend. So, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll be shopping. Let's go shopping for sure.
Okay.
So, what better topic, right, is to have a conversation about going back to school, right? But I have the experts when it comes to the kiddos, right? So the topic today is the invisible backpack, packing mental wellness for the new school year. So I'm just looking at you, and I'm going to start with you, Ariel. Ariel, if you do not mind, please just introduce yourself, what your role is at the Family and Children's Services, and what your expertise is about this subject matter.
Okay. Well, my name is Ariel Humphrey. I am a therapist, child therapist, school-based, and a little bit about me. I am from Tulsa.
Yes.
Went to OSU,
All right,
unfortunately,
that's
but go Pokes.
Go Pokes. Okay.
And then got my master's in University of Maryland. But I was very much called to come back home, love home, very much impacted by those at my school.
Yes.
So, yeah, glad to be here.
So awesome. And thank you for being here. And then to my right, Keisha Barnett. Tell us about you, Keisha.
Hi, I'm Keisha Barnett. I am a youth care coordinator in the Child Abuse Trauma Department. So deal with some severe things, but I enjoy it because in my mind, all children can thrive. We just have to help them with that. I am a Tulsa native, Booker T. Washington High School, and
Whoop, whoop.
I graduated from
Hornets.
Yes, go
Yes.
Hornets.
And I graduated from Northeastern State University for my undergrad and grad. And I just enjoy working with children. I work with families, but primarily doing rehab with children, and I enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you, Keisha.
Yes,
And thank you
ma'am.
for being here. And then to my right, I have Zoe Todd. Zoe.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I'm Zoe Todd. I'm a child abuse and trauma services therapist for our kiddos. I'm also at the Apache location and also at our main location at 6th and Peoria. I've been working with kids my whole career, but I have my master's in social work, and so I went to OSU. But then I did get my master's degree at OU, but
All
I
right.
still rep the Pokes a little bit.
Okay,
So,
it's all good.
you know,
Yes.
but yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I am not born but raised in Tulsa, so Tulsa's home. Yeah,
Awesome.
and always will be.
Thank you so much, Zoe, for being here. All right, so let's jump into it. So the invisible, if I can say the word, that might be very helpful. Okay,
I'm with you.
invisible backpack packing mental wellness for the new school year. So what are we doing to prepare our kids' minds for the chaotic shift from summer to classroom? Because they've been out of school for a while, right? So what comes to mind? What are we doing to prepare?
Definitely talking about sleep hygiene.
Oh.
So what is your sleep routine? Because some kids have been staying up all night playing video
Yes.
games, talking to their friends, and it's going to be hard to get back to school, getting up early, catching the bus,
Yes.
and not being cranky at school.
Yeah.
So
Right.
definitely working on changing that schedule sooner than later with parents. That's what I've been talking about. Like, how do we start getting closer to the sleep time and waking up, and then going back to sleep at night, not being up all night. Yeah.
That's a big one. My youngest daughter, self-disclosure again. Like, I'm like, did you go to sleep? You
gotta
still
check.
up from the next
You got to check.
Having a
Did you
good
go to
time. They're
bed?
enjoying
Bobby,
it.
I know. It's a whole thing. Yes. So I totally can relate to that on a personal level.
And for the littles, my role looks like training parents on practicing the I'm back in school at least a couple of weeks beforehand, because littles, they need to feel that they're on a schedule and not just us telling them go to bed the day before school. It's important that we
Yes.
practice those routines, but also talking to littles about the importance of impulse control regarding we're back on a schedule. We can't just get up when we want to get up, regarding in our seats, but respecting authority figures and thinking before we do things that's going to cause us to get in trouble.
That's
Like
all
for
it
some of
is.
my teenagers. But just reminding them that, hey, the free days of doing what we want to do are basically over, and to get their minds back shifted into being in the classroom and what that looks like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to remember for telling parents and for telling our kiddos as we're preparing for back to school is that back to school is not just one day. It's not just an isolated event.
Right.
This is a transition.
Yes.
So like we've been talking about, kids have been at home all summer, staying up however late, waking up whenever. Not all families, but some,
Yeah.
they're enjoying their leisurely time, the margin that they've had.
Right.
But now it's time to get back into routine. It's time to get back into the predictability of school days versus weekends and all of that. And so just remembering that this is an adjustment for all.
Right.
Parents have to incorporate drop off, pick up, lunch packing, all the things into their work routines and all of that
Yes.
as well. And so just being able to have the conversation as a family unit is really important, so that everyone can, give each other the grace and the space to figure it out, get back into the flow of things, and not expect kids to just wake up next Tuesday and be
Right.
ready to
Exactly.
get to school on time with a good attitude. Because
Yes.
It does
it's
not
an
work.
adjustment,
It is an adjustment.
And some kids feel differently about going back to school, right? Some are very
Absolutely.
excited. Some think that they're excited, and the minute they get there and they realize maybe they don't have all the friends in their classes like they were hoping, or
Right.
you never know what's going on in the peer relationship aspect. But just being able to give every kiddo that space to feel what they feel about school, and
Yes.
then they're being in a new environment. Maybe it's transitioning from not seeing your peers to seeing your peers every day.
Right.
You just don't know. We also don't know what kids have been through over the summer.
Right.
Yes.
And so a lot of change can happen over the summer, even just on a personal family level.
Yes.
Or even internally. Some kids have huge growth spurts and
Right.
developmental leaps over the summer, right?
Yes, yes.
And so especially thinking about teenagers
Yes.
and all of that, a lot
Right.
can change. And I know
Yes.
my bonus daughter has grown about a foot.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's like
Yes.
there's so many things that teachers, parents, kids are all going to be coming in new with in the school
Right.
year. And so just remembering that it's a transition for all parties involved. So
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. Excellent points. And then, so when you were talking about transition, so how much time do we prepare for? So I'm talking to my kiddo, go to bed now. But how far in advance should kiddos be preparing to have that sleep hygiene and all the other transitions that you mentioned, Zoe?
I mean, obviously it depends. Everyone's different, right?
Absolutely.
I am a firm believer that it builds 21 days to build a habit.
Oh,
So in regards to that, I always suggest parents to start a few weeks
Yeah,
early
yeah,
and
for
getting
sure.
back to the sleep, wake up time routine of
For
it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that also gives you some grace to okay, well, maybe a couple days here and there we're not getting to sleep at 8 p.m. like we would during a school year. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think earlier the better.
Yeah,
And
especially
honestly,
for the littles.
I would say maybe next summer, let's try keeping a similar routine.
Oh, goodness.
I know that's
Yes,
not fun
yes.
for a lot of kids, but we do know, and research shows that kids thrive off of predictability.
Structure.
They might not like it
That's right.
or think that they like it, but kids do thrive because the predictability, the routine, the structure, it allows their nervous systems to feel safe,
Yes,
which allows them
yes.
to just be,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and they're better able to navigate transitions and change, and all of that helps parents.
Yes.
you
Yes, it
know?
does.
Yes.
It's hard to implement, but it does help in the long run having that consistent routine.
Yes.
And obviously, fun can be had. We can pivot. We can have stay up late times, but being able to keep as much normalcy as possible can really help in the long run in terms of sleep hygiene. How are we? Irritability, agitation.
Yes.
Some of these like impulse control issues that we're seeing with kiddos during the day. Sometimes just more sleep, more consistency
Yes.
can really help a lot.
It can.
That's true.
It can. We're behind 21 days. She go
I
back to
know.
school next
I was
week.
about to say,
It's
I have
never
not
too
been
late.
telling families 21 days. I've been saying 3 to 2, and they be looking like, okay, like
We're
that's
all
a
done.
huge commitment.
Yes, yes.
Even the kids are gonna be like, now I gotta go to sleep on time. Why did my therapist say that?
Right.
We just the gradual exposure of it,
But I'm
right? We
like,
start talking about it
2,
early.
3 days.
Absolutely. So.
We don't have to be anxious. Summer is still happening. Enjoy every little bit of that. But yes, 2, 3 days. Weekend, you can be excited about getting up early on a Sunday. Maybe the family does breakfast. It's a lot easier for the parent to do that as well because if they're not going to work on the weekend, it's a little easier to do something fun in the morning when we're getting up earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always try to think about how to make that easy for the parent. We know what 21 days is great, but then we also know, life, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So there's some grace in between. That's what I'm hearing. Yes. Thank goodness. I'm not awful parent. Okay.
And I am not saying that I am done 21 days with my kids. I just say we start having a conversation a few weeks
Yes.
prior.
Good.
So that people are
Mind on
thinking
it.
about
Yeah,
it.
gotta
Yeah.
get the mind.
Absolutely, Zoe. I love it. I love it all.
Starts in the mind for
Starts
sure.
in the mind.
Definitely.
Hey, Keisha, I saw you respond, especially the littles. Is there like a significant difference in the age group? And
For sure. Littles, they don't always understand why, but if you actually make it a big deal, like, hey, if you give them some grace, if you do this, I'll make sure you get this type of time to do this or to play with this. And even though they don't understand it, once they rest and go through it, it makes it easier in the days to come. And the main thing with littles is when parents are stressed, they are as well.
Yes.
So if we're calm, cool, and collected about it, like I'm gonna lay down with you, and it's okay, they're gonna be fine. But teenagers, it is different. But at the same time, it can be done. So it may look like a couple days before school start for the teenagers, but for those littles, it's very important that they practice that because you're gonna see it in their bodies other ways from a stressful standpoint, if not.
oh,
100%. Yeah.
goodness. Which brings another great point. You said we'll see it in their bodies. What would that look like? What can that look like?
Well, so basically their tolerance level decreases and their stress level increases. Period. So fidgety, can't sit still. Sometimes kiddos are crying and sometimes they turn red, but you see it in their body language that I'm stressed, I'm tired. You're going to see
Yes.
it before they actually tell you. And so that's why it's important as authoritarians that we get in front of that as much as possible because teachers may mistake it for behavioral issues when we're just tired.
Yes.
We just didn't get enough rest last night or we're hungry.
Oh,
And so we have to be able to read those signs and help our little ones as needed.
absolutely. Ariel, Zoe, anything else you'd like to add to?
Yeah.
Excellent points.
Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say I
Yeah.
agree being at school because I'm at an elementary and a middle school, but definitely tearful. Sometimes tearful about things that you're like, and why are we crying about that? And you're like, well, we didn't get enough sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
They can't explain why that hurt
Yeah.
their feelings either.
Well,
So
I like to hone in on this. High school students, a lot of them are attached to social media.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're
Absolutely.
up all night long on their phones. And by time come for the parents to drop them off at school or get on the bus, they're so tired.
Yes.
They're wore out. They haven't had breakfast in the morning. The energy level is real low. So some schools have changed their curriculum for like English and math. Rather than first hour and second hour, they moved it up because these kids are worn out.
Yeah.
And if they come from a dysfunctional family,
Yes, sir.
family who's driving them to school, smoking, you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Smoking in the car, playing loud music early in the morning, got the kids in there. They are inhaling stuff, or some of
That's
them may
true.
even be
Yeah.
passing them on to their children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and so the kids come there. Some of them come to school. I'm talking about high school students and middle school students come there high. You know,
Yeah.
they're very high when they come through the doors, so they don't function well.
Correct.
Right.
You know, because
Right.
of that dysfunction. I know for a fact because I deal with some of the schools out here in our community,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
and I'll be like smelling things. Ooh-wee,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, this is right here at the school.
Yeah.
So a lot of it has to do with the parents.
Absolutely.
It's the parents who need some coaching and teaching. Because a lot of times, a lot of kids will follow what their parents' leads are, you know, and just go with that. So if you're doing bad behavior, the kid's going to go up doing bad behavior because you're coaching him to do bad behavior.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely,
So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. A lot of that social media and the dysfunction when it comes to different smokable items.
Very
You
true.
know, so
Yes.
that plays a part.
It does.
I have a youth program, the Juice Radio Show,
All right.
which is high school students
Okay.
from various different high schools here in North Tulsa
Mm-hmm.
come in here and they do a show just like what you guys are doing.
Awesome.
Right now,
awesome.
they were
Yes,
in
that's
here last
great.
night, you
Oh.
know, cutting it up,
Love
chopping
that.
it up.
Yeah.
You know, kids, you know,
Yes.
I pick them up in my van after they get out of school.
Nice.
Take them to
That's
quick.
really cool.
Take
It
'em-
is,
Look
right.
here, take them to Quick Trip, let them buy a couple of things.
Yeah.
And then come on in here and do a show.
Love it.
So they educate me.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
They educate an old man.
Yeah,
You know
all
what I
right.
mean? Educating the old man. And I'm learning a lot in 2026 rather than 1976. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
It's real different. And the emotional and cultural differences are very different. The moral standards have changed.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, and these kids are confused in areas of even their sexuality and who they are as a person. You know what I mean? They don't know if they're boy or girl, you know, or whatever it may be in today's society. Unlikely when I was coming up, you know, it was in the closet. Everything was in the closet, and you hid things from your parents. If you were drinking or smoking, you hid that from your parents. But today they're doing it in the open.
Yes, sir.
So Teresa, I'm just
Yeah.
throwing in my
Yeah.
2 cents.
Hey, your 2 cents is worth it.
And-
Thank you for chiming
And
in.
you
Yes.
know,
yeah.
this is my observance
Yes.
in 2026.
In 2026, and you said a whole lot.
Yes.
A whole lot.
Yeah,
So
I did. Big mouth.
we're going to add on to that. No such thing as big mouth, and we welcome anything that you have to say, Bobby Eaton. So when you mentioned social media, you mentioned the parenting. There's so many things that we can tack on. Zoe, what do you have? I know that was a lot, but what else do you want to add to what Bobby just said?
I think the parenting aspect is something we can kind of touch on for a moment.
Come
Yeah.
on, please do. Come on, jump in there.
Because and what I tell parents this all the time, like I'm with your kid 1% of the time, if that.
Right.
You're with them 99% of the time. So there's skills that I would like to, teach you, educate you on, work with you on as parent, so that you can, assist your kid and provide them with an emotionally safe environment. And because parents are the ones that are, making the difference one way or another, positive or negative, on kids' growth and development. And so I do think that parent engagement, parent involvement in school, in sports, in their mental health, in their lives in general is crucial. And understandably so, parents also are humans and have a lot going on themselves.
That part.
And so not to negate that at all. We take into consideration all of those things. And sometimes we as parents are leading with the do as I say, not as I do.
Goodness.
Yes.
And that is not serving our kids well. Like Bobby was saying, like some parents are doing certain things and the kids are picking up on those behaviors, but maybe parents are telling them, well, don't do this, don't do that, but they're seeing otherwise.
Right.
Also, teenagers are very quick to call out hypocriticalness, like the hypocrisy, all of that. And they will call you out on it. And they note it. They'll clock it. And so that is just something for parents to really pay attention to, is like kids are sponges from infancy. Kids are sponges. We know the first 3 years of development are even the most crucial in terms of brain development and attachment to people. And so what we think might be we can get away with because kids aren't really paying attention or don't really understand. Kids are noticing it all. And they are making a judgment on whether that is a safe adult, whether that is a behavior that I want to implement, whether that's permissible, whether that's something that I would like allow other people to treat me. And so they're making a judgment about the world around them based on what they see. And so I think as parents, if we can take just a little bit more intentionality of realizing like our kids are watching, you are your kid's role model. You are their everything, right? Like they want to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Kids adore their parents. It doesn't matter what else is going on in the world. You know, it could be a really tough situation, but kids love their parents innately,
100%.
right?
Yes.
And so parents have so much power in being able to form the humans that they are responsible for. And so I think that being able to encourage parents with that knowledge and information is really necessary, because I think sometimes it's beaten down to them like, well, you're doing wrong, so you're a bad parent. I would rather like flip it on the reverse and change the perspective of you have so much opportunity to create an incredible human, right? Even if that's not what you had growing up, even if that's not what you ever saw, you still have the power to change those things by how you walk your life.
That's something I've been encouraging parents, because we have to learn how to honor ourselves. And I think, you know, if we learn how to honor ourselves, or we're modeling that for our kids. And I say honoring ourselves, even with transition, life has transitions. And so how do we handle even the anticipation of a big change, right? And I think about that, how I take care of myself. How do I handle change? You know, so I need more rest when I know things are going to change. I might need restoration after, you know, starting that new thing, right? And so as we're going back to school, definitely thinking, how do we restore our kids after school, right? You've had a first couple of days of school, you might be a little more fatigued. A nap might be great right now. Maybe that's not our norm, but maybe a little bit of a nap afterward, even for the older kids, right? Because even when you start a new job, we think about it, when you, as an adult, you start a new job, you were tired the first couple of weeks. You're like, woo, I'm learning a lot of new, I'm getting a lot of new people's names, I'm trying to be my best self. I'm exhausted after work, right? And so how do we encourage parents to, we honor ourselves and we teach our kids to honor themselves, right? When I'm angry, that usually means that I want something to change and stop. So let me think about what is something that I need to change, right? In my environment, or what's something that I'm experiencing in my environment that I need to stop happening. How do I ask for help? What is a helpful way to do that? What's an unhelpful way that would hurt me? Make sure I know the difference, right? Because it's not wrong to be angry. It's about how do we operate when we are, like, how do we respond to that, right? And so I think that's like, a lot in my sessions, even this first couple of weeks preparing to go back to school, is telling parents to model how do they take care of themselves, right? We're all getting up for a change, right? And so how are we kind to ourselves when we are like, hey, that didn't work out right. We all didn't get breakfast today. You know, and I'm going to be hungry. The kid's going to be hungry. I'm frustrated. Everybody get in the car. You know, like, but like, how do I stop and say, okay, we all made it in the car. We all a little hungry. Okay, so what can we do? Maybe I can go to Apple. Maybe we can grab a banana on the way. Maybe I can just apologize that we didn't get up enough a time.
Yeah.
You know, because that
Yes.
does happen.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, and
Right.
so there's a restorative moment that can even happen that the parent is modeling. They're modeling for them. They're taking care of themselves,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because we're not going to be perfect all the time.
Not at all.
And so it teaches the
Grace.
kid to do that as well. Sometimes you
Yes.
get up to school and you're cranky the first 15 minutes or the first class period, right? Or until
Right.
lunch.
Yeah.
And then you have a chance to, I always tell kids, you have a chance to start anew.
Oh, I
Right.
love that.
Always.
Always.
And also with parenting, when I think of parenting for the parents that I work with quite a bit,
Yes.
a lot of times I see my parents when the kiddos are in therapy, but consistency. Kiddos need consistency, and a lot of times parents forget that because they need those routines, they need that structure, and we
Yes.
should not be parenting along the lines of if you do this, this is going to be your consequence, and then don't follow through with it. We need to make sure we're following through with what we say is going to happen, so kids will respect you, first of all, as their parent, and that you
Right.
mean business, and that you're not playing games with them. So consistency also with that role modeling and structure, and also when kids make a mistake, love them through it. Don't just yell at them. Don't be quick to yell at them and
Yes.
talk crazy to them.
Yes.
Love them through it, because somebody had to love us through our stuff as well.
That's right.
And that's one thing we need to get back to is loving one another. You know, love is a strong word.
Yes.
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 You know, and we have to get back to that,
Yes.
you know, because without the love, what do you have?
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Without the love, what do we have? And so when a kid feels like they don't have love, they act out in certain ways and they hook up with people who don't feel like they got love either.
Right.
So,
Yes.
you know, that now you got the gangbangers and all of that, and they loving on that particular kid.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and kid get kicked out the house and they go to the Crips and the Bloods
Right.
house and live with them, and they call that their family.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
You know, because of the love.
Yes.
The parents didn't give them any love. You know, some of the old men I used to talk to, they used to tell me, well, my daddy didn't love me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I ain't never knew how to love nobody. You know what I mean? So they passed that on throughout generations.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So the only person who loved me was my grandma. You know?
Yeah.
Well, not the mama, not the daddy,
Right.
Yeah.
but the
right.
grandma.
Right.
You know, grandma's hands. You know, and grandma's word in the Bible and all of that.
Yes.
That was grandma.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and so some of these parents today, they don't have those moral values to continue on, to pass that stuff down.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I often think of this shirt I got on, Black Wall Street. You know how they did it then. It was love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very much.
A lot of love,
Yes.
you know, was passed around. Teresa, if you were building a house, I would come help you build your house.
I know you would.
You know, and once we got through at your house, we go over here and build your house.
Yeah.
And build
Yeah.
your house and build your
Community.
house.
Community.
Community.
Yes.
That
Yep.
was
Takes
love.
a village, right?
That was love.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and you had to have that installed in you
And it was
to
love
do
in
it.
action.
Huh?
Love in action.
Love,
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
love and
Well, love
action.
is an action
Love
word.
and
I
is
would
Love
action.
in
believe
action.
that.
People
Yeah.
can speak to
It's
it,
an
but
action.
be about
Yeah.
it.
Some
Right.
people can say, "Oh, I love you," but do you really
Come
love
on
me?
now.
Right.
You know,
What
are
is your
you
action?
just saying something? You know, but love is an action.
Yes, sir.
100%.
You know, it's action.
And back to the school thing, you know, kids these days can sometimes go through hell at school. So they need
Oh,
to
for
feel
sure.
that love coming back to them when they get home.
Yes.
So if you dysfunctional at home and they already going through different things at school, that's why we have kiddos who are unstable. So love is a
Yes.
big thing.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think love also comes as trust. I think some people don't think about love. It's like, you know, love the meaning I'm saying I love you or I give you hugs. But often I see with some of the behaviors is, can I trust you?
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
And
trust
so if a
is
kid
major.
feels like they can't trust
Come
you,
on now.
Yeah.
you don't care, you don't love me.
No, you could. That's out the
right?
door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
For sure.
and that's why I say even just, you know, when you make a mistake as a parent, because you're going to make mistakes, we all
Yes,
make mistakes.
yes.
I make
And-
them right now.
Right,
Yes.
Right
but
today.
trust
Yes.
can still be built by saying, "Hey, I
I'm
messed
sorry.
up, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Because
Take
we
ownership.
expect our kids to be able to own their faults and apologize
For sure.
and take accountability. But as
Yes.
parents, we have to model that and show them how to do it.
It
Not
takes
just
a
tell
huge-
them.
Right, Zoe? And it
There's a
goes back
huge
to
shift.
a huge shift. And it goes back to, you said earlier, oh, I remember my dad would say, do as I say, not as I do. I'm like,
Yeah.
huh? I'm so confused.
What
What does that mean? I see you doing this, Daddy. He was a good daddy. Listen, but I don't understand. So it goes back to modeling that behavior, building the trust, being
Yes.
consistent.
Yes, the
right?
behavior.
Yes, the behavior, for
Something
sure.
that Keisha was talking about in terms of how we discipline kiddos and the consistency in it is also in alignment with love, the topic. One thing I really try to teach my parents a lot about is connection before correction. So
Yes.
when you are going to be correcting a behavior or something, like make sure that we have an emotional deposit
Right.
in the
Ooh,
bank,
yes,
right?
that's
Before we're
good.
just withdrawing, because then you're going to be empty, right?
Right,
And
yes.
so
Right.
making, even in, because everyone has all different perspectives of how they should discipline. But when we are able to connect with our child, see them, acknowledge them as a human being, as our, pride and joy,
Yes.
as someone that we care for,
Right.
then we can go in with the correction piece, right? And
Right.
it lands a lot softer.
Yes.
It usually
They
is more
hear you.
memorable.
They
hear
Yes.
you.
They are
Yes.
trusting. Their nervous systems are regulated. Your nervous system is regulated because you've taken the
Yes.
time to say something kind, lower your voice, get on their
Yes.
level, like
Yes.
physically get on their level.
Right.
Something of that nature, because it's just kind of helping disarm you as a parent, because you can, it can be frustrating, right?
Right.
And disarming them. They're not going into defense. They're here receiving love and connection from their caregiver. And now you can teach me something about how to make better choices next time.
And
Oh,
they
that's so
believe
good.
you too.
Yes.
Yes.
They believe you.
Yes.
Because it came from a place of care.
Right.
I ran into a couple of ladies, and we were in a department store. I'm not going to mention the name of the department store.
Okay.
But we in there, and two ladies was in there, and one lady's kid was acting up. You know what I mean? And other lady had her kids too, and I just kind of looked over there and kept flimming through and stuff. And she say, "Girl, you need to go ahead and tighten. You need to tighten him up. You stop doing him like that." And other lady said, "What you want me to do? You want me to hit my kid?" She said, "You want me to hit my kid? I'm not going to hit my child." Like that. And other lady say, "Hey, well, he needs some tighten up." You know what I mean? And I'm looking back and forth, and I'm saying, wow, which one is right? Which one is wrong? I'm saying that to myself, because, hey, when I was coming up, we got the beat down. You know what I mean? The spanking. Pow, 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 pow. Even you got that in school by teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that was part of life. But I looked at that and I said, wow. She kept saying, "I'm not going to hit my child. I'm not going to put my hands, or anybody put their hands on my child." And I said to myself, okay, well, that's her method of parenting.
Yeah.
That's her method of parenting. And that's her method of parenting. Which one is right? And I said to myself, I guess you just have to make a choice, what you want to do in your parenting style. Now, the beat down don't always work.
Right.
No.
I was about
You
to say,
know.
yeah.
Well, and let's be honest,
know.
parenting started before they got there.
Right. Say that, Keisha.
It started
That's
before
not-
they
yes.
got there, because if you're in right relationship with your child, they're going to respect you at home
Yes.
and in public.
Yes.
And they're going to know
Yes.
what is tolerated and what is not.
But
so good.
parents, when they have a child, the child don't come with an instruction manual.
No.
Right.
Not
You
at
ain't got
all.
no instruction manual with no
That's right.
kids. And if you're a parent that don't know how to parent,
Yeah.
and you haven't been around in that environment with mama and grandma on them, and how to do this, or breastfeed, or get to Similac, I know all that
I
stuff.
know, yeah.
And diapers and change, and he got colic and all that. If you don't know, and you just in your own world trying to figure it all out, it can become a problem
It can.
For sure.
It
with
can.
that child as that child raises up. Why isn't that child speaking and talking a lot? Oh, this kid might have autism or something, but you don't know it. You just think that he's a certain way. Or he just says good, but you got to know what's going on with your child. That's why you got to get with people like Family and Children Services to take them and get them diagnosed and get things happening. And you need to get diagnosed yourself and find out how to parent, how to become a better male parent. Because men don't, look, African American black men don't go to the doctor, for one. They don't see themselves. They just ache and pain on the inside of their bodies. And they don't want to go get the services, the psychological therapy that we need. See, we need therapy. We all need some kind of therapy. But African American males don't want that therapy. They be like, oh man, them people, man, I'm okay. It's okay with me. But Teresa, you know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is sitting around this table, because you guys are the professionals and you deal with the littles.
Yes, sir.
And I'm concerned about the littles.
Yes.
Because they are our next generation.
Yeah.
When I'm
sure.
dead, when I'm dead and gone, the littles gonna be coming up, running things, and,
That's
and
right.
be in
Correct.
place.
That's right.
And we have to pour into our littles.
Yes.
We got to.
Yes.
It's a must. It's a war. Let's go ahead and get into the littles. You know, these little kids. I love babies. You know, everybody know Bobby love babies. I love babies. I see a baby and I just go, oh, come here, let me hold her.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me hold him.
Right.
Hey, little dude, what's going on? Give me 5.
Yeah.
You know, I'm that
Yes.
kind of a guy. You know, I just love him. Give me 5, man. Come on over here. What you got? You got any money in your pocket? I be talking crazy.
right. Oh.
You know, talking to him. But I'm not gonna take up much of your show. But we need therapy. We need counseling. We need something that can make us better. We need like my daddy always said, we need a win.
We need a win. Wow.
We need a win with our children and stuff like that. So those who listening on Radio Land, because I know y'all listening, we need a win.
Yeah.
W-I-N.
Well, it starts here. We're having the conversation. This is great dialogue. Yes, yes. And there's so many layers. There's things that you say, Bobby. So I'm thinking from parenting into, like, we've talked about love and trust and building consistency and getting on the level of the littles. And as a parent, though, like, how can a parent know the difference between just a normal, like, first day jitters versus, like, serious school refusal? And maybe those words are, like, strong, but how would a parent know the difference?
Having a conversation with your children, first of all. I know that when my kiddo come home from school or when we're leaving the school, I ask simple, direct questions beyond, how was your day? I ask open-ended questions, so I have to get a response. And you do that and you continue to do it, and you'll learn based on their responses just how school is going for them, if that's good or bad. And if it's bad and it continues, you're going to pick up on that and be able to know, hopefully, a next step beyond them, what you need to do. But start with having a conversation with them and see what they give you. Because you're going to know through their energy and their words that they speak just how school is going.
Right.
And if there's some possible bullying. But you have to have the conversation with them and make them answer more than just yes or no. Ask those specific questions so that you know how it's going for them.
I
love
said
that.
something. You said bullying.
Yes, sir.
That is it's a lot of that going on in the
It
school
is.
system.
And we're going to touch on that
Yes, sir.
in 20 minutes or less. Right? We're going to try to.
Bullying.
Because Keisha also said something else that's really powerful. Open-ended questions. Like, we understand what open-ended questions, but what are those open-ended questions besides, like what you said? Don't just ask, how was your day? You know, what else is there? Yeah, chill. It's good. Right?
Name 3 positive things that happened today at school.
Oh, that's good.
Name 3 things that you didn't like about school today.
Yes.
Get into their minds so that they already know from that first day with you asking questions that this is going to be a norm, but it's also helping you help them. So it's helping you to know just how school is going for them, if other people are doing their job,
Yes.
based on the questions that you ask. And it's going to help me to know if I need to make a phone call or send an email. But invest in your children by not assuming that you know how their day was, but asking them direct questions.
Right.
And then the goal is that eventually you don't necessarily have to ask all the questions, right? You've
Right.
created this space that in this routine and consistency
Yes.
that they know that mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever's taking care of them is going to inquire about their day and is open to listening. And so then they might become more forthcoming and they've built trust and then that
Right.
Yes.
predictability.
Yes.
And then that feels like love. You know,
Right.
it's like a
Very
cycle
much.
that grows and becomes really beautiful. On that, I think another option that parents can have in like a listening input of what their kids' days are like is asking like, what's like 2 highs and 2 lows from your day, right? Because it also might not be school exactly that happened, right?
sure,
It might
yeah.
be the way that you talked to the way you woke them up.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
And so opening
Good
that
point.
up across the board, it could be sports that happened, you know?
Yes.
It could be when I was walking to the car, something happened, you know?
Right.
And so obviously you have to explain to your kids like a high is like something that was surprising in a good way, made you happy, exciting, something that went great, whatever, right? And a low
Right.
is like maybe something that was disappointing, made you feel frustrated, angry, sad, or maybe give you a little bit of anxiety. And so being able to kind of explain that, give them the opportunity. And
For
then
sure.
also
Yes.
parents should let the kids ask them questions too.
Oh.
So even if a kid's like,
Okay.
well, what's a high? And it's like, okay, well, high is this, this, and the third. Like today, my high was getting to pick you up on your first day and
Yes.
seeing how you
Yes.
did, you know? And so like you're modeling that and you're
Yes.
sharing and then you're building connection.
That's
and
good.
That's
so
good,
you're also
Todd,
like
yeah.
humanizing yourself because kids
Yes.
don't always realize that their parents are human beings too.
Yes.
You
that
know?
part. Right.
They think we're
Yes.
machines that check in, check out, make money, make food on the
Yes.
table. Like sometimes, you know?
Yeah, right,
and so
right.
you're humanizing yourself as being someone who experiences emotions. And then you're modeling to them that that's okay and to do the same.
Thanks for explaining the why.
Yes,
Right.
I like that
Yes.
because
That's
my
good.
daughter, she asked me even without being in school, "How was your day, Mom?" You know, so I love that too because it helps them to realize that they're having a conversation and that you're
Yeah.
not just like, "Tell me,
Yes.
tell me, tell
Right.
me."
Right.
Yes.
Interrogation. right.
Yeah, because they'll shut down real quick.
Yes.
They'll be like,
Oh, here we go, Mama.
yes, exactly.
Oh, goodness. And so something else that came out, and I know Bobby mentioned this, bullying. I know, again, we have like 17 minutes at this point, and that's a heavy topic, right? So what's your thoughts? What's the concept around that? How do we, and that's a really vague, real broad question, right?
Yeah.
But if we could hone in a little bit on the aspect of
I
bullying.
ask kids to define what happened that they consider bullying. Were you teased? Were they mocking you? Were people touching you, getting your personal space,
Ah.
and it was unwanted?
Oh,
You know, really talking about what that is. Were you in a fight? You know,
right.
were other kids around you and everybody was mocking you, or was it one kid who was following you? Really getting into what is happening because
Yes.
bullying is like the umbrella. But there's other things that happen under that umbrella, right? And
Right.
so depending on what happened under that umbrella, we need to have certain type of actions, right?
Yes.
And so sometimes it could be simply like when they call you that name, did you tell them you didn't like that?
Oh,
You know,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
like,
good.
no, I didn't. Okay, you got to tell them, no,
how
thank
we
you.
am.
Don't call me
Yes.
that. My name is. Yeah, right.
Right, right.
I think that is something I've worked with because the term bullying is pretty, or they're messing with me, and I'm like, what are they doing that is messing with you?
Yes.
You know, like let's talk more about that because if you go home and you tell parent they're messing with you, the parent is like, who is messing with you? Why? You know,
Right.
they go to the school, they call, and they're like, the kid was kicking the back of their chair.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Which technically, okay, that was messing, you know, with them, their
Yeah.
emotions, their day. It wasn't pleasant. But like, you know, giving that information and finding out what is specifically that would happen, right? So we can
Yeah.
have a good resolve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, asking those open-ended questions.
Goes back to that.
Leading with curiosity.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
not
yes.
just like taking one term and assuming that we
Right.
know what it means.
Right.
Yeah, just-
Making that assumption.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, just getting in front of bullying. If you're in right relationship with your children, you're going to be affirming them before it can even get to that point. But just reminding them if they experience it or they observe it, just to remind them who they are. And, you know, if I can go biblically, but remind them of that scripture of how they are fearfully and wonderfully made, and just affirming them, making sure they know that before they get to school that I am somebody.
Yes.
You know, I'm
Yes.
somebody, and making sure they know that go to Miss Holiday. You know, that's your go-to. Go to her if you feel uncomfortable. You know, throughout your day, making sure they have a go-to person at school when you're not there.
Yeah.
It's just very important, and it's okay for us to, you know, talk about those things on the front side. A lot of times we do good with, oh, my kid came home and said this. Let's stop procrastinating as parents, but get in front of all of that so that your kids can be prepared for maybe those kiddos who are not so nice.
Yeah, the bullying part,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if your kid is getting bullied at school, he or she, to me, needs a protector. They need someone there at the school who can help protect them. They can go to
Yes, sir.
tell them that they're getting bullied.
Yes.
You know, and for example, I have two boys. One boy became a senior, and the other came in as a freshman, sophomore, something like that. He didn't get bullied at all. He didn't get bullied, but he's got a little. The latter one has a little autism, you know, and he's smart, and he just kind of like, hey, how y'all doing? You know, he's friendly like that.
Yeah.
You know, and so he does a lot of Mario stuff. Just draw his butt off. I mean, man, wow. So he's like that. You know, he's in that world.
Yeah.
You know, Mario, all that. He's in that world. And my other my other son, you know, he played football, and he was like that. So they didn't bully him when he first got over there. But the minute my son, my oldest son, he left school the following year, is when the bullying started,
Yeah.
because he didn't have a protector.
Wow.
You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
He no longer had a protector, and he was on his own. So we had to go to the counselors and talk to all of them and tell him, look, when they bully you and knock your books and stuff out, your Mario stuff out your hand, you know, you pick it up and just go to the counselor. You know, don't pay him no attention. And that's what he started doing.
Yeah.
But they got to have somebody to go to.
That's right.
Yes, they do.
Well,
At
that leads
school.
to a great point, Bobby. So where do they go when to school? Like when they are experiencing bullying firsthand? Like what is that? What is the mental health first aid for the kiddos?
We always talk about safe places. So a place that gives allows you to feel comfortable, at ease. You know you can go there and find safety.
Yes.
So that could be a former teacher. That could be the dean. That could even be the attendance lady.
Ah,
You know?
right,
You know,
right.
She encounters a
Yeah.
lot.
Whoever that person is for you.
She encounters a lot.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I used to be very close to my attendance lady.
Yes.
She's a first stop shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
She's the first one. You
Now,
know?
I just want to add that now they have things that we didn't have. They have classrooms called comm rooms.
Yes.
You know, they have those rooms that kiddos can go to, and I like that because to me, it helps to calm them down immediately. If they don't have a person they can go to, there's a comm room.
Wow.
And my understanding, they all know where that is, and it goes from there. Obviously, there's counselors in the building, but I like that they can go to the comm room because sometimes that looks like crying, sometimes it looks like punching, sometimes that looks like playing, fidgeting, but safe place. So comm room,
Wow.
that individual person, whoever that is for your child. But whether they have a person or not, I like that they can start in the comm room to help them to, you know, regulate themselves.
That's great.
awesome.
Yeah, that's actually a partnership with Family and Children's Services where we have schools that have comm rooms. It's a part of our wraparound program. So one of
Comm
my
rooms,
schools
huh.
has that, and they have a behavioral health aide who they manage that comm room. So, and they're equipped for that. Yeah, not every school has a comm
We
room,
sure did.
unfortunately. We're advocating for more because it does
Yes.
take funding for a behavioral health aide to be present. But yeah, comm rooms, even having them talk about like, what are those safe places even at home? Like, identifying those ahead of time.
Yes.
So then when you're at school, even though you're not in an emergency type of situation, you already know where you can
Yes.
go to get a
Planning.
breather.
Mhm.
Yes.
Planning.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Planning on the front side. We got to do better.
Gotta do better, and it's happening. It sounds like.
Oh,
The
100%,
comm room,
yeah.
Right? Didn't have that.
Yeah.
We have
No,
comm
we
room.
did not.
No, did not have
comm room
that.
kid.
Wow. Goodness. And along the line of bullying, so I also think of, gosh, social media. And I know that we don't even have time to
Oh,
really
that's
unpack
an
that.
episode in
Right,
itself.
that is. I'm gonna bring y'all back. Part 2.
Going back.
I'll be here.
That's
Yay.
for sure. For sure.
But can we talk a little bit about that? Like, that's a whole nother platform of, I see your face, Keisha. Something you want to say about it? Because
I just know our kids struggle with self-image, and they're trying to keep up with the next person.
Yes.
And if somebody says something about their shirt, they don't want to wear the shirt anymore. It's just trying to keep up with. We used to say the Joneses, but
yeah.
but it's big for our kiddos these days because they experience kids saying a lot of hateful things to them, and so it's our job to pour into them regarding self-image. And if I can't afford to get my kiddo the shoes that they want or that they saw that they wanted, but maybe just checking into that resource and seeing who can help, but making them feel great with what they have and making sure
Yes.
they have clean clothes and whatnot. But self-image for the kiddos is huge, and I just wish sometimes
it's
that
big time.
I wish that I could be a fly on the wall.
Yes, it is.
High
sometimes.
school students especially.
Yes, they're so judgmental.
Oh,
So
man.
judgmental.
Oh,
I
what
know.
kind of tennis shoes you got on? He got on them funny tennis shoes, and they just, and he walk around with those funny tennis shoes on, and everybody's focusing on those funny tennis shoes, and he's feeling, because he don't have on those Air Jordans and stuff,
Yeah.
and then he's working, he gonna figure out how to get some Jordans on his feet.
I know I got
Yeah.
a little off topic, but I thought about that because they're trying to
Self-image.
people please, and,
Yes.
and they're
please.
trying to fit in.
Oh, for
in
sure.
in a great way
Yes.
without being talked about.
Yeah.
And so
They hate to be
Yes.
talked about.
That's it. Keisha.
With more than one person will drive them crazy.
yes.
Your hair ain't done. What's you got that hair, or what's that jacket you got on? Ooh, that's ugly. You know what I mean? They're and they get a lot of that on social media from the rappers and the singers
goodness.
and all of their performers, and they making it rain and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And they look at this stuff on their phones.
Yeah.
And they're in these chat rooms making these comments back, because you
Yes.
call them, they ain't gonna answer their phone, at all. And they get in these chat rooms and they just be chatting back and forth, and they want to become these people.
Yeah.
The Lil Waynes and the Cardi B's and all of these, and they got all these diamonds and ropes around their neck, and they want to become these people, their image,
Yeah.
and they praise these people, on social media. They praise them, and they want to become them like them. And, and when they see those cars going down the street with them rims on it and bumping all out, they want that. They want these things, and they want to become famous, and they want to become famous.
Yeah.
But they're in the box famous, because they don't come out, and their social skills
are very low.
Oh, that's
Right.
a whole nother.
They don't
That's
have
what I was
social.
gonna say.
They don't have social skills at all.
No.
I think that's a part of the social media, like after effect or,
Yes.
the side effects.
Yes.
So I would definitely say for parents, because that's an adjustment to even going back to school, because there is a friend circle sometimes you have created on social media or on those video games, Roblox, where all your friends are getting on, or you're making friends online.
Yes.
But sometimes those friends are kids who go to school, and sometimes they're not. People who
Right.
don't go to your school, right? So parents, one, being aware of the games that they're playing,
Yes.
right?
Oh, good point.
Because those
Yes.
platforms have so many games on there. Some are very violent.
Very.
Some are very fear-based.
Oh,
you know,
my
the
God.
kids now, your kids talking about they can't go to sleep at night, and you're like, why?
You were right.
Yeah.
You know, they playing some game that's got them all scared at night,
Yes.
right? So I have had some of my clients. I'm like, stop playing that game then.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop playing. Why are you
So you
playing
can
it?
sleep.
Turn your phone in.
Yes. Yes.
About 9 o'clock.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Right.
9 o'clock.
You
You're
talked
right.
about social skills and identifying. That's something I've seen a lot in school. Identifying who is your friend. I think that is a good conversation for parents to
I
have
love that.
on the way to school about what are qualities. How do you know
Yes.
somebody is your friend?
Yes.
How do you know that they are qualified to be your friend?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because sometimes they talk to me on the game on social media, but when we're at school, they're mean to me. They're my friend. That's not a friend,
Yeah. No.
right?
Right.
And so having those conversations really is really important, because sometimes kids get into chats on these games and they
right.
mean talk each other
All the
and they
time.
see each other at school.
Yes.
And so now there's some type of beef that the school doesn't know about, you don't know
Right.
about, because it's all happened on the social
Social
media
media
platform.
platform.
Goodness.
So definitely, I'm not a parent, but I would be very encouraging parents to have access to their kids' phones, or the
Yes.
trust to say,
Yes.
what games are you playing?
Yes.
Right? And can I see some of the games? Doesn't mean I'm saying that you can't play it, but I would just like to know
Right.
what are some of
Not
the
be
games that you
ignorant
enjoy.
to it.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Monitor everything.
Yeah.
Check your kids' rooms. Check in their drawers and stuff. See in their mattress. Oh, you can't come into my space. This is my place. No, this is my house.
Right,
And I'm
right.
going to check what you do. I had a parent take the door off their bedroom.
All right.
She actually literally took the door off and put it in the garage. And the kid was so upset and so mad, but he said, this is my house. I do what I want to do, and your grades are low, and you're up all night on this phone. Give me your phone. At 9 o'clock, I want your phone.
Structure.
Yeah.
And that
Goes back to that,
So
right.
that kid, he took that kid's phone and all those electronics and games. He took the little controllers to the game at 9 o'clock. You turn them in, and the kid started turning them in, going to sleep, and his grades started coming up.
Yeah, I mean, social media, even times of when you, like you said, turning them in, because they say now that you need at least an hour of without screen time for your mind to relax, right?
Just to prepare to go to sleep.
Yes, those games are intentionally, even video games are intentionally made to give a certain type of dopamine release, right?
Right.
And they
And
do.
to keep you
Yep.
playing the game, right? That they
Yes.
benefit you playing the
Yes.
game, and then wanting to get the next game and go to the next
Right.
level or pay for the extra whatever, right? And so they're doing their jobs, but you have to make sure that you're taking care of your child's mind, right?
Yes.
Right.
And even as adults, we get affected by that kind of stuff. TV
For
shows are
sure.
made that way as well. That
Yes.
you want to
Social
watch the next
media.
I know,
episode,
right.
the next
That way.
episode. And all of a sudden it's 4 a.m. You have not gone to sleep. You know?
Yes, right.
Because you're watching all these episodes, all these series
that's
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to be
Yeah.
mindful of those things, like, talking about just having a set time to not get on those things so you can get some sleep. Maybe conversations, a game.
Yes.
I've been encouraging a lot of families to do hobbies
That's
that
good.
they do that are not on social media. Maybe that's your last thing that you get to do at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
If it be Legos, or if it be, helping your dad, you guys work on the car, or if it be running errands with the
Yes.
family, spending time with an aunt or a friend down the street, doing some of those things, because it builds social skills.
Yes.
And we need connection.
Right.
You don't have to find it always on social media or those
that's
game
so good.
platforms, right? Because
So
we're
good.
made for connection. So
Yeah,
there's
we are
nothing
made for
wrong with
connection.
that.
things.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
We are the connection.
Right.
We
How
are
about
the
that?
connection. I took my boys, outside one day in the summer. I took them outside, and I opened up the trunk of the SUV and pulled out the spare tire. And I said, hey, and pulled out the jack. I said, jack it up. They said, what? What you jacking up for? I said, jack it up. And they jacked it all up. I said, now, hey, take that lug wrench and unloosen that tire. They say, Daddy, but the tire seems okay. Both of them, they in there doing their thing and took the tire off. And I just stood there for a minute. And I say, put that spare on there, that little donut, you know. So they put the donut on there and I let it down. They said, Daddy, what you have us do? I said, now you know how to change the flat.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I said, now you know how to change the flat.
Like
Jack it back
Yes,
up, jack it back
skill.
up, take the donut off and put that back on.
Yeah.
Hour, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
an hour investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took my boys to Walmart grocery shopping. We, the three of us, we in there grocery shopping. First few times, I bought the groceries. I said, look what I'm doing. And I'm buying the groceries. Then I went grocery shopping in Walmart. I sat on a bench. And I said, y'all go get it. And they went and got it. And they went and got it. And then when they got in line, I gave my oldest my debit card. I said, hey, man, here, this is debit card. Here's a number. Here's a blah, blah, blah. And I looked inside the basket. I said, no, not that. No, not that. Not that. And they went, and I went back over there, sat down, and watched them come through the line and get the groceries all put in the basket. I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
I said, let's go. So I went to the car. They loaded it all up in the car. Went back to my apartment. You know what I mean? Got out, and I walked on up to my apartment, and they unloaded, and they put all the groceries up in the cabinets and everything. You got to teach your kids
That's
something.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You got to
Yes.
teach them
Yes.
responsibility in something. You got to put it in them. So
Yes.
when you ain't there, they already know how to do it.
That's right.
Yes.
And kids
That's good.
love learning and
Oh,
having that
man.
trust, and especially the younger you start,
Ah.
Right.
kids
so-
thrive off of that. They gain.
They gain. But my
they gain so
sons
much
love that.
confidence.
Yeah.
All of that they daddy taught them. They were like, hey, man, Pops taught and made us change the tires today, you know, on
Yes.
the car.
Yes.
And that was a core
I love
memory that you made with
Yeah.
them. For
Right.
you
Yeah.
and for them.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, look, I knew we would go over time because this has just been a great conversation. Oh, we will. Look, the commitment is already there. As I always say, I'm here. I'm looking at
I'm here
Keisha
for it.
and look, Ariel. Okay, so just really quick, there's a few announcements, and then I have a question to ask, and we'll wrap up. So back to school events, Lacey Park this Saturday. Family and Children's will be present. We will have a table. We are giving backpacks and school supplies. So that is this Saturday, August 22nd. There are two events, Oasis and Reed Community Park. And so we're giving out backpacks and school supplies. And then in Teddy, the end of this month, I think it's on the 26th, backpack and school supplies. So be there. There's so many events in the North Tulsa community, especially back to school events, and we love it. Last question for you all, and thank you again. This has been an awesome, wonderful conversation. What is one thing that you would tell a parent that out of all this? I know it was a lot we unpacked, right? What is one thing that you would say from this discussion to the parent to hold on to and a takeaway? It could be anything we've talked about today. Ooh, I know. It's so much.
One
You
thing.
talking about in session, like?
No, and from this conversation today,
Oh,
would
you
be
have
the-
support.
you have support.
You have support, and if they want to know what that looks like from start to finish, I will break it down to them. But the main thing is with parenting and with parents in general, they feel like they have to do it all.
Yeah.
You don't.
You
You're
don't.
still a great parent
That's
if
right.
if I help you or if I give you resources to get the help that you need. But
Yes.
you have support is my.
That's good, Keisha.
Good.
Good. I know,
That's a
right?
good one.
I can go next. I think I'm going to hone in on the connection piece, right? Because I think that is so important for kids, so important for
Yes.
parents. Just slow down, connect with your kid, have a conversation, play with the Legos, Play with
Yes.
the Barbies.
Yes.
Let them help you cook, like something.
Yes.
15 minutes a day can make a world of difference
You're right.
in a
For
kid's
sure.
life
Yes.
and in a parent's life. You know, when you're able to slow down, you realize what you're doing all the other stuff for, right?
Yes.
And so you see your little human that you created that you're taking care of, and you are
Right.
able to deepen in gratitude, see something that you didn't know that they learned,
Yes.
learn something new about them, watch them explore, you know, have that connection piece. So
That's
just
good.
find the small little pockets of time, even that's in the car, you know, just try to connect.
It's awesome.
I would say being patient with yourself because we are starting a new cycle, a new
Yes.
set of schedules, and there are some unexpected things that you can't control that are going to
Yes.
happen.
Right.
And so being patient with yourself and then telling your kid that they can be patient with themselves as well.
Yes.
We don't have to be perfect.
No.
We're trying.
Great.
We're showing
That's
up.
it. We're showing up. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
Yeah,
not
that's a good
robots.
answer.
We are not
Yeah.
robots. I love the way you broke
Yeah.
down the robot. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good. Well, hey, this has been a great conversation. Ariel, Keisha, Zoe, and of course the legendary Bobby Eaton. Thank you so much for being here. And we will be back at some point, right? There's
Yes.
more to talk
Yeah,
about.
thank you for having
All
us.
right. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day.
You've been listening to Family and Children Services on KBOB 89.9 FM. We're here to bring you news and information about your mental and physical health to make a positive impact on your daily lives. The professionals you hear on this show have spoken freely and openly about various mental and physical health care experiences. Any medical or psychological advice should be taken as just advice. If you're currently experiencing any physical health issues, please consult your primary care physician immediately. For serious mental health issues, call the COPES Crisis Hotline at 918-744-4800. The views, thoughts, and opinions of the participants in this program are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of 89.9 FM or Eaton Media Services. Thank you for joining us today, and be sure to join